It's the Unbalanced Podcast. Unbalanced, 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 unbalanced. It's the Unbalanced Podcast.
What's happening, people? It's your boy Jacko, the Unbalanced Podcast.
It's your boy London A. What's good?
Steeler.
I love that energy. You should bring that energy. But the whole podcast. I like
One word
it.
answers.
It's the
Cool.
jacket.
Right. It's your girl, Miss Santos. Eric Santos.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that is happening daily on our streets. Something that needs to stop. Knife crime and our youth. Stilo, you kickstart this one off.
Well, first and foremost, I have to say rest in peace to anybody that's lost anyone to this tragedy. First and foremost, that's the most important thing I can say. But what I will say is knife crime's always been about. I mean, from when I was young, there was always knife crime. The term, borers and like there was always gangs. But I think it has gotten out of hand. And I don't think it's bad parenting. I just think that there's a new wave of education for these kids and they're learning from different places. And that's my thought on it so far.
Hey?
I disagree with Steve. I think it comes down to parenting. I think it starts within the household. We're having it's a major issue now, but even when I was in school, I wouldn't dream of picking up a knife and using it against someone. Because I know, I'll get some raw licks when I get home.
Yeah.
Or if I got arrested for something like that, I have to face my mum. Do you know what I'm saying?
Embarrassment as well.
Embarrassment,
Yeah.
and my fear was to embarrass her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I believe it starts from within the household. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your parents can embed that healthy fear into you and make you conduct yourself in a way that you're supposed to conduct yourself out in society, then you're not going to be thinking on that wavelength to be going out there and picking up knives over what? Stupidness. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to one-on-ones, man? Like, that's my era,
Yeah.
one-on-ones. If someone got stabbed when I was in school, and I'm talking, I started secondary in 96, someone got stabbed, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was a huge news. But now,
Was it my school?
it wasn't in your school. Yeah, your school was nuts though, innit? I know what school you went to, but yeah, you went to a madman school. But at the same time, in society at the time, it was a big thing.
It was.
Do you know what I'm saying? And
If you heard about it, you'll be like, oh, who died? What?
Yeah,
What? It would be
yeah.
more that. Now it's like statistics. It's like numbers now.
yeah, like we're so desensitized to it now. It's like we don't feel nothing when
But
we
would
hear
you
that
say-
someone's been stabbed
But
or
would you
someone's
say
been killed.
kids are forced to join gangs to feel protected?
No, no.
I'm kind of, again, unbalanced. Because because I feel like you're right and he's right. You both have valid points because I feel like society has a major factor to play. The system has a massive, like the education system, so many different factors that all play, and parents play a massive part in it. Because I just feel like you said, when we was kids, we would, I don't know if like you were talking about, getting licks and so forth. Like right now, you can't chastise your children, you can't lick your children, you can't beat your children. And I don't necessarily believe that
You can hit your children. Sorry to cut you.
I work within social services, my darling, so I'm telling you now as well that you can.
You can hit them, but you can't mark them.
Yeah, but who are you? But come on, be real. When they're talking about that, they're talking about like a smack on the bottom or on the hand. Like you're more like talking about a young child. You're not gonna do that to a teenager. You're not gonna do that to a 10-year-old. You're gonna smack on your bottom. Do you understand? That's what they mean. Like chastisement also means it's repetitive. Do you get what I mean? So
You do not like. I like those things. Then.
I don't know. You might like that. I don't know. So can we get? All right, let's not go down there. Let's not go down there.
No, let's go down there.
no. But what I'm trying to say is and I don't necessarily feel like that is. I feel like chastisement is not the only way to educate your children, because I feel that within our parents, as much as we used to get licks, we still sometimes used to still do things behind closed doors.
Thank you.
And it was more time because that our parents never used to have those conversations with us. I feel like they used to hit us, but not educate us and not really tell us, sit down. I don't know if you saw that video with the dad that went viral for taking because his 13-year-old daughter he got caught. He caught his 12-year-old daughter having sex with a boy in his house. And anyways, so he hit her and he filmed him hitting her, and there was a lot of backlash and so forth. And I just feel like I understand. Okay, yeah, old school, you're licking her, but what is she learning from that? Really, I don't think she's learning much. Because the only thing that she's going to learn is to kind of be more secretive about it and not bring a man to the yard. I'm just saying there has to be somewhat of a balance as well when we're talking about that's the reason why, you know. But I'm not. Anyways, let me not say that because I work for certain people that I cannot really.
No.
Sorry,
Sorry about that. She should learn something from those licks. I'm not saying that what he did, that guy you referenced, was what he did and how he handled it was right. But she should have learned something from it. Not just be more secretive and do it somewhere else.
It's respect, I think. Maybe
she should have learned that. You know what? I have really disrespected my dad's. I've tarnished his reputation for what I've done. I need to fix up.
But how did he tarnish? He's the one that filmed it. So it would have been between, like, one thing that my mum always said growing up, dirty laundry is washed at home. Like, you don't go out there and put out your business out on road. You get what I mean?
But that's what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. She tarnished
He put his business out there. So how did he tarnish his name? This is not old school. We're not living in the 1900 centuries that if the woman, if it does that, then, the whole neighborhood is going to know. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Maybe if you people in the family home. Come on, like.
I'm thinking, you know what? Sorry, I thought you said that she filmed herself having sex with the guy.
No. But at the same time, it's like a lot of us do work with young people, and we know that there are loads of young people that share images and videos. We've all experienced that where we had. But in that sense where a parent the first reaction is for them to hit your child, and then that's the only discipline that you're using, what is that child learning? She might fear you in the sense of like, oh my days, I don't want my mom to find out. It's not going to stop her from doing that. So there's a reason why your child is doing that. Is she screaming out for attention? Has something happened to her? These are the conversations that I just feel like there needs to be a different way of parenting. And I think parenting is more than just chastising and licking your children. We have to learn new ways, because I know we're going into a different era, do you understand, compared to how we used to live back then. And I feel like we're not having more conversations with our children. Like, I feel like...
And you know what it is? But if you look at societies that have worked, the community parents the child rather than opposed to just the parent.
It takes a village to raise a child.
And I think this is what we're missing in our community. I think that we don't look out for the wide variety of kids. And when I was growing up, there was like next door neighbors that were looking out for me, and I felt like protected from that. And I don't feel like the community is looking out as much for the kids because they're more scared of them, or they look somewhere else on them, and they have an opinion on the parenting. And I blame myself or the men that I've been around, in the sense that haven't fathered their kids, and that's what I think maybe a boy needs, maybe a daughter needs, because I started to realize, being a father to my daughter, she needs me as a man to some degree, and she needs her mum, and we need to be more parents and more active and care for other community kids as well.
But do you guys feel that? I feel for some with our generation anyways, I feel like there's more active fathers now. I don't know, but I feel like
it's because
more
our generation,
fathers around us, more men are around me, like especially our generation. Even if they might not even be with the mother of their children, but they are still very active in their children's
It's because a lot of us we experienced that void of not having our fathers there. Not saying me personally, but a lot of people from my generation growing up haven't really had their dads there. Do you know what I'm saying? So they say to them, so they probably said to themselves over the years, when I have my own children, I'm gonna make sure that I don't do or handle the situation how my dad handled it, and that's what encourages us to be great fathers. Do you know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people, they naturally like for me, I naturally turn into like a mentor for other kids as much as I can. Obviously, not having my dad around and stuff like that, I never really experienced, getting in trouble by my dad and stuff. It was always my mum. I was the youngest of like 4 brothers, so I always before I even thought of even making a mistake, I always thought about not what my mum was gonna say, what my older brothers was probably gonna say. So like yeah, just going back to what you said about I think people naturally turning into like mentors now to try and help the other kids who feel like they need the man voice
Yeah.
to try and guide them.
Solution to stop knife crime.
I think one of the things that you pointed out in one conversation that we had previously was travel. I feel that it's just segregated. I feel like a lot of these young people have not lived past where they basically live. They have not experienced life. I feel the more, like you said, the more you travel, the more your mindset changes, your perspective.
Yeah.
Not just, I'm talking about the good and the bad. So you're going to see greatness out there. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I could actually live in Spain and have this type of life. Or I could, oh my gosh, people in Romania are really going through, like what you said, like going really through certain things. There's real ghettos and real people starving.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and I'm not saying that a lot of our young people don't go through struggles. A lot of them go through poverty. There's a lot of families and young people that go through poverty. So I'm not taking away, nothing away from that pain. But what I'm saying is that they would have a different mindset. Because even us, when we travel,
But how can you expect them to travel if they're going through poverty themselves?
and this is where the whole community thing comes in. A lot of our young people don't even have own passports. They don't even own passports.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think about it, like they would spend. We got young people. We know. Come on, let's be real. We got young people that will buy designer watches and designer clothes and and so forth.
And expensive trainers.
Spain is £40 return trip sometimes on EasyJet. Do you understand? So Amsterdam and Holland as well, same thing, £69. France is
69, yeah. Amsterdam, sorry.
This idiot. this idiot.
Listen, look.
I'm just saying one
To
example.
stop all this, just listen. You're not going to stop it with all these individual stuff. But what I will say is, up the sentence, for a prison for carrying a knife. What's it now for carrying a knife? 5 years? Up 5 years?
It's 5 years.
And what you got to remember, these young kids who are carrying knives are getting caught. Some of them are 13, 14, coming out when they're 18. That's light work. Yeah. For one, they get an experience to go in jail. 2, carry on their bad boy image. I've been jail, I'm a bad boy. Yeah. Up the sentence. Up the sentence.
I agree.
I disagree. I disagree.
People are going to think twice.
I disagree because the war shouldn't be on the punishment. The war should be on poverty. The war should be on the circumstances of the reasons why these young people even turn into crime. And a lot of it is down to poverty. A lot of it is down to broken homes. A lot of it is down to trauma. And we don't speak about mental health a lot with men. Especially within the black community, is really
large.
And a lot of it's to show off as well.
Yeah, but a lot of it's
what I'm
not.
saying, I get it, but the thing is, I hear what he's trying to say, that there's a lot of little kids show, but everything stems from something. The fact that they are showing, why are they trying to pursue this? Why are they trying to gain this type of attention? Do you understand?
But that doesn't mean.
I'm just saying, I don't believe prison makes these young people worse. Prison is not an effective. I've studied this, and prison is not an effective rehabilitation center. I feel like we should, instead of the government increasing the sentencing, I think what we should do is put more resources in helping these young people. Because, for example, I worked for the council for many years, working for the youth, within the youth offending sector and so forth. And what would happen is, and as you know, we know that there's been many cuts in the youth services, and they'll cut the resources, i.e. they'll cut staff members. So let's, for example, there's 10 of us now. They've cut 5 people, or 5 people, or even some people leave. They don't replace these 5 people. So what happens is, 5 of us are supposed to be working with 10 young people each, or 10 families and young people. If these 5 people leave, what happens? Instead of them replacing these people, they increase our caseload. If you increase our caseload, how are we actually supposed to do effective changes, real changes within these young people that are going through child sexual exploitation, county line exploitation, gang affiliation, poverty, you know what I mean, family breakdowns and so forth, mental health that haven't been diagnosed, and education that's neglected them. Like, there's so many
There's so
different
many
factors.
I know
Do you understand what I'm trying to
I know a
say?
lot of kids that have come from good families
I know.
and they're on the roads.
And they're on the
No,
roads,
I-
yeah.
I'm telling you now. So
It's not a mental health thing, because you mentioned mental health before. Like, we need
No.
to start identifying that there's a lot more young men that
There's
are going
different
through mental,
factors, I'm just
through mental
saying.
health. But some of these kids that are out there stabbing, they're calculated. They're not going through mental health. Like Jacko just said, some of these kids come from good backgrounds. Do you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, they
But
want to
how-
go out
but-
there
okay.
and portray that life.
You know what I can
I don't
say?
get it.
You know what I can say? I can say this, and I can say
But
it.
what about you? Sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
sorry, go on.
you guys basically saying putting these children in prison is the best way forward, and I disagree with that.
No.
Putting more resources is more effective than because.
But they've got a choice. But they've got a choice. They've got a choice to pick that knife up.
I get it, but what I'm saying to you is, we're talking about solutions. You putting a young person, let's talk about a young person that actually has got a good family home, that really should be. It has no business actually being out there on road, but just got caught up in the hype and just wants to be show. There's a lot of and there's a lot. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of serious influence out there, because sometimes people are like, you know what, I'd rather be the perpetrator and the victim, because I don't want to be the one bullied, so I will join the people that bully. There's so many different
the
ways.
mindset.
Like everyone's mindset is different, and then when you get caught up in that lifestyle, you feel like you now have to, stick, keep this image up and so forth.
Yeah.
It's like a false
Pretense,
yeah. So putting these kids in prison has been proven years and years and years that it does not work. It makes people worse. So if we're trying to rehabilitate these young people,
The sentences ain't long. The sentences ain't longer.
Do you know what? I think.
but even whether it's 2 years, what I'm trying to say, even if it's 2 years or even if it's 5 years, it's not effective. It's just not effective.
All right. All right. If you was walking,
A harsher sentence.
okay. All right. Let's for example, touch wood. This doesn't happen. Yeah. Say you're walking down the street. Yeah. There's a young boy with his hood up, around 15, 16 years old, and he asks you, "What have you got? Take your stuff out, phone, stuff like that," and he holds a knife to you. Yeah.
Take my sip. I was like, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah. So he takes your stuff. He takes your stuff off you, robs you, holds a knife to you. Obviously, frightens the life out of you.
Yeah.
Somehow gets caught. However, what happens, and gets, let's say, a year. Would you be happy with his sentence?
Okay, I'm not saying that I don't agree that a year is like that's.
But it's going back to what I'm saying, that the sentences ain't long enough.
What if you got 3 years, Harriet?
I think that's enough. It depends, babe. If he like you taking a life away, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, there are consequences to your behavior. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be facing punishment, but what I'm trying to say, the prison system, you have to understand the system. The prison system does not work. It does not.
No, there's not
help.
enough. There's not enough help inside there.
For some
What I'm saying,
people.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
Prison can be very traumatizing.
Everything. I know.
And then coming out of prison, you're not going to want to go
But
back
there's
there.
more of a high, but you know this. You work with young people. There's a higher reoffending rate for people that actually go to prison than people actually don't do community service. People that go to the yacht, for example, do community service and do programs are less likely to reoffend than people that actually go to prison. It's statistics. It's facts.
This all comes down to when you get a criminal record, not be able to get a job. That's why I feel like people like reoffend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, they have a criminal record. Oh, I've been stopped for a knife. I don't think I can get that job. I don't think I can get that job. I was the same when I was arrested in 2004, 2005 for attempted robbery and fighting. I didn't think I could go and get a job. So my mentality was I can only go and play football because I feel like that's my only escape route out of it. I don't feel like I can go and get a normal job. For one, also as well, I had tattoos all over me. I didn't think it was all affecting me at once. So that goes through some people's heads as well.
That's good.
Okay, I've got a criminal record. I'm not about to get that job, and I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
you should be able to give people a chance. Whatever they've done, they've made a mistake. Yes, you should be able to give people a chance and stuff like that.
And also, you know, what I would say was very, very effective for me is make sure that you govern their friends, the choices of friends that they make. Govern them as much as you can, because that's where I think it goes wrong. I think when you make them friends that do different things, that explore different things rather than what keeps you trapped within that hood mentality, that's the danger. Like, make them make friends in different places, traveling. I mean, travel is something I always strongly advise, but I mean, people that do different things.
But only certain people can travel, Steve.
But I feel like
I get that.
But I think a question that a lot of people don't ask a lot is, why do we have this problem? This is the UK. We are a superpower country. When we're ready to embed fear into the nation, like coronavirus and things like that, it works. So why can we not embed that fear
And I'll tell you,
into this demographic of
I'll
young
tell you
people
why.
that think they can go out there and
Because
start stabbing
they want
people up?
bigger.
Because let me tell you something. You put some of these kids, you put one of these little youths from the ends in Abu Dhabi. Go juke someone, see what happens to you.
Yeah.
They're not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Switzerland don't have these kind of problems, and if they do, it's only a small percentage. You know what I mean?
There's a big part. There's a
But
big part.
there's
of
a
it.
lot of countries. There's a lot of countries in this world that don't have this problem. We are the UK. We are
Okay,
England.
can I just say
yeah?
why?
I feel like you're going to say what
You
I'm
say
gonna
why?
say.
You say why? So the reason why is because people, they want this to happen.
agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
They want
this is
this
what I was going to say.
happen.
They want them to kill each other off. That's
It's
what
a
they want them to do.
revolving door. Who are the people that get affected? It's white, poor class, white kids, poor white class, well,
Yeah, the poor,
working class,
yeah.
Asians, like the basic what they call the BAME community, black ethnic minorities, and poor white kids. They're basically those are they're basically they're the ones that are being mainly like affected
Exploited the
in
most,
this sense,
yeah.
in terms of poverty, in terms of where they live, all of these things. So at the end of the day, it's like, why does the system don't care about these people? So I personally, firsthand, will tell you from experience working in the system that they want revolving doors, right? Because this is how it works. They're given a certain amount of money.
I agree.
What do they do with the money, right? If you look at the people at the top are earning about 100 to 200k. What the hell are they actually doing at the top?
Yeah.
They ain't got a clue what's going on at the bottom, and the people that are doing the frontline work. Now, like I said, resources are cut, youth clubs are cut. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We used to be able. I remember when I used to work for this project, and we used to like take the kids out like to places and like educate themselves, and just like you said, even be able to sort of travel. And everything does involve money. Now, when I was working, I had to take money from my own pocket.
Wow.
Sometimes, do you get what I mean? To pay for travel expenses, or sometimes they'll be like, oh, you can apply back. But then by the time you apply back, it's just all long and so forth. Because they say, oh, there's no money, or there's no money. No, there is money. It's where you're choosing where to place this money. Because what they do, they want to it's like a revolving door. So what they want us to do, so they increase the caseload, which means that we have less time with these families and young people, which basically is what we do. We're putting a plaster. So I'm putting a little plaster, but I'm not really, taking the time to solve the root of the problem. So then what happens is these same families and these same young people are going to go through this. And this is what happens to the young people that we work with. The young people that we mainly work are people that have been in the system for years and years, and it's like a toxic cycle. The people at the top are getting paid the most money.
Yep.
The people at the bottom on the front liners are getting the most stress, and they're the front liners, the faces, and they're the ones that kind of get, and it's a whole thing, even like with the police. And I want to bring in sort of the police situation, because also, there's a massive thing with the whole police. I've worked with police officers that had great intentions, that had like good police officers that went into the system saying they want changes, they want projects, even different, and even try to get into the community and so forth. But even with I remember when I was speaking to one of the police officers, he's told me that they have to, when they go back to the office, they need to have a certain number of stop and searches.
Yeah,
Of course.
Right? Which means that even if they don't want to search you, they feel like they have to search you, because if they say, okay, we want you to go on the road, and you have to have like 20 stops and searches,
Like a ticket, man.
like a tick box, and we do that as well. And this is what they used to try and push on. That's why I had to leave where I was working, because I felt like I was doing a tick box exercise. As long as it looks pretty and it looks cute, like all the numbers, it's almost like, oh, you worked with that family for 4 months. Okay, close the case, bring in another case. So it looks like you're working with so many families, but really you're not actually doing anything with these families. And this is what I'm saying. They want a revolving door. They don't give a shit.
But what's the incentive?
I mean?
What is the incentive for the government encouraging this?
Because the government. Come on, you got to talk about we got
to go back to the
But what's the
beginning.
incentive?
They're
But what is the incentive? How are they monetizing from all of this? Is it the prison system?
I think they will always make a way of getting money.
Because I know in America, the prison system's all business. Do you know what I'm saying? Is it the same thing over here?
But the thing is, if the one, it's all about classism as well. Do you understand? So then, like I said to you, who are being affected? Who are the people that are mainly being affected? They're not middle class people. They're not upper class people. Who are these young people that are actually being affected? Like, at the end of the day, if they're killing each other, if black kids are killing black kids, they don't give a shit. Do you understand? If it's poor kids killing poor kids, they don't give a shit. The less poor, because that's the masses. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So as long as we keep the rich,
So is that
it's
the
a
incentive
control, it's a
to
power,
eradicate the
it's a
lower class?
Exactly, it's a power control thing. It's a depopulation. It's a power. It's literally a power and control thing. It's how you. It's capitalism. It's classism. It's all of that. It's racism. It's prejudice. All of that is factors as to why the system. It's the system. The system is effed up basically. Because even police officers that I've spoken to, I'm not a police officer that left the. It's weird. He left the service to become a youth worker because as a police officer, he felt like he couldn't get what he wanted because he saw racism in the police force. He saw that because even when I was talking to you guys about the stop and search, they will tell you a certain specific groups. Do you understand? And we all know that black boys are stopped the most. Do you understand? So it's just like. And if you are not someone that was, and there's people that speak up within their workforce, and they'll be like, oh, and complaints go. But it's almost like the people that they can. It's almost like you look like you're not part of the team. Because I remember one time when I went to a child protection meeting, and the social worker the social worker didn't do nothing on this case. And when she was in front of the whole panel, the family were there. She was basically putting the mum on putting them up basically in the middle as if the mum wasn't the one engaging and da da da. And I was like, hold on a minute. And I kind of had to stop all of that. And I said, listen, we have to take accountability as professionals for not doing what we're supposed to be doing with these families. We're here to support them, not the other way around. And the thing is, because I kind of took the family and I advocate for the family, they sometimes don't like that. They'd be like, oh, but sometimes, when you have to say that, outside, not in front of the family and blah, 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 because they want to kind of see it. It's us against them. And I'm like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the family. So there's people that go in with like my mentality that actually want to do changes and change just within everything with social service, youth workers, police officers. However, unfortunately, most of the people within the system become sheeps. So they don't want to be like seen as the as the people that are not managed, non-manageable, the people they want to be, they because they know that they can't advance in their careers if they keep clashing with the people at the top. Do you understand? Our team was dismantled within my service because they said to us that they felt that we weren't manageable. But the reality of it is because we didn't take shit from the people at the top. We did what we did. We used to bring like even union involved and so forth. So we have this is our rights and so forth. And unfortunately, the people that really want to make a change have a block because of the people at the top. It's all controlled. It's all politics. We had fantastic line managers that could have really, really done great within our team, but they were also. It's almost like they don't. It's weird. It's almost it's so much politics. I can't even get
more
into
politics
it.
than actual.
So this is a ripple effect because we, as a society, we only seeing the results of what these children are doing, but we're not going back and say, okay, what's going on? Why is these things happening? Like we say, it's the system. The system is set up to fail for these young people to fail. Even in school, look at expelling. How quick they are to expel kids. You guys know this. How quick they are to exclude children. So it's like even like for example when they are, even if it's internal exclusion, they make these young people sit by themselves to do their work. They don't have the resources to have like a mentor to kind of talk to these young people on a level or really. So, and remember, every young person learns different. There's different ways of learning. So you be in a class with 20, 25 young. So there will be young people that will play up in class because one, they actually can't learn within a group. Do you understand? They learn more maybe on a one-to-one or in a smaller group. You guys most probably know this. And there's other young people that have different. You have teachers that are not the best teachers. and don't know how to actually manage. They know how to teach, but don't know how to work with young people. So the first thing they do is like, get out my class. You're talking, because they don't know how to work with these young people. And it's almost like the psychoeducation system, the justice system, and then and at home as well. And it's just all of this is setting up young people to basically fail. And then out there's the gangs like you're basically. So I feel like I'm talking so much. So let me shut up.
No, but you know what it is? When you've got something positive to say, you've got something positive to say. And it's something I always say that anybody that's watching at home, it's about reflecting on what we're saying and taking in the information and having your view on it. And maybe, from one person to another, it only takes one person to make a change, to begin the cycle of change. So, what is being said here hopefully can inspire many other people to make changes.
There's due to be someone in the comments watching this back going, that white guy's a snitch. He wants to get the sentence up. I could just see it already. I could see it already.
You know what? Fun enough, I'm not against that. I think if they start to throw out harsher sentences, maybe that might embed some fear into some of the young people.
I think it will make people start thinking a little bit more different before they actually, because nowadays people are putting knives in their pockets before they leave the house, like it's their phone. So it's like, I've got my phone, I've got my keys, I've got my knife.
But could you imagine if we were like America, we were given it 100 years and 150 years for such.
But
so America is the most disgusting. It's disgusting. I think 25 years for not doing nothing.
I think that would eradicate a lot of the problems that we have.
I disagree.
What I would say is very important is
resources.
If we give them,
is a solution,
yes,
not increasing.
I think it's a balance of both. I think if they're given more time, with more resources in there to learn different skills, to come out with different approaches of life, I think maybe that might give them a different sense of direction.
You lot are talking about preventative strategies, It's all about prevent. That's basically what you two are saying. But
you're talking about punishment.
But no, I'm saying punishment as the result.
But what is punishment? What is punishment? You're punishing, but you're not trying to rehabilitate.
When I'm talking about harsher sentences, I'm talking about that's the result of your actions. When you talk about prevent, it's basically what you two are saying. But you're a product of your environment. Now, if your household is a certain way, and your family and the people that you spend every day with are a certain way, prevent is only going to do that much for you.
This is why I say
do you get what I'm saying? So I think that what Jacko was saying about harsher sentences, that might embed a little bit of fear into young people.
No, because I feel like you're saying that, but think about it, babe. Like, you're saying that these young people are in a house that they can't get away because they are brought up in a toxic environment. So the only way forward for them is to enter.
But we all have choices. I understand. We all have choices, Ariel. We have choices.
And I understand that everyone, and there's people that actually are from a lot of us are from the same hood, that have, people around us but we still exceeded beyond those barriers and stereotypes and so forth. But I just don't personally. I'm not saying that they shouldn't receive a punishment sentence. I'm not saying that. I just have because we forget that a lot of these young people as well don't hold value for life, for their own life. For you to take another man's stuff, as much as you say, they feel like, they're only gonna have 5 or 10 years or 15 years, but for you not to care. That 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years of your life is going. You don't care about yourself. You're talking about young people that do not care about themselves. Hence why they don't care about other people. When you care about yourself, when you have love for yourself, when you value yourself, you do not do those things. Those are projection. Self-hate is a projection. That's what they're doing. They're projecting their own self-hate onto other young people, their own values onto the other young people, because that's why they're so quick to take life, because they don't value life. They don't even value their own life, because it's like you would think twice. Even if it's 5 years, you'd be like, I ain't trying to be 5 years in a box. Do you understand? You don't care about life because you're so lost. And I feel this is what I'm trying to say. If we start actually loving it, these young people need love. I feel honestly,
that goes back to our discussion that goes back to our discussion from earlier on, saying that taking away all these youth centres and stuff like that. These kids most of these youths haven't got nothing to do. There's nothing for them to actually do around here practically. There is hardly any youth centres going on. There's a handful of people trying to do their own things like PTs and football coaching and stuff like that. But other than them things, there's nothing for these youths to do. So sometimes some of these kids actually haven't got a choice. Then go out there and actually gangbang.
Chime in from what you just do you think though that it's gone too far now with like where youth centers are concerned? Because it's like because everything is territorial now. If you were to like open up like youth centers, like other youths are gonna come.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Know where to find
In
these youths. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
where
everything is so
That's
crazy.
yeah,
now.
where me and
that's happening today.
where me
Yeah.
and definitely where me and Aaron work, we work with some of our colleagues work in youth centers outside, and they will come in the next day, and we in it. They will tell us that some of our kids have had trouble with some other kids at the youth center. Again, that comes down to things like money and that. Can you support these places much more with security and stuff like that? Again, it comes down to what everyone's like.
And
It's money and stuff like that.
I think the government are not securing the communities well enough. I mean, hindsight, a lot of communities and roads have got no cameras on them. There's reasons why they don't have cameras on there. Like in the hood, you know what I mean? Like there needs to be more security, and the fact that when there's security, you know you're being
It's
watched.
funny you
But funny
say that.
enough, yeah,
London's got the most.
They've got the most cameras.
It's
but
got more
funny-
surveillance than anywhere else in the
Yeah,
world.
but funny enough, they can. But it's hard for them to catch people do certain things. Like for example, there's always like some sort of politics around that. But yeah, they always catch me with my car though. You always sending me parking tickets. I feel like really parking ticket people should be
Yeah,
the ones
the ones.
that
Should be the
watching.
police.
Yeah.
Should be policing to see what's happening because they always find me. Do you get me? Oh,
Yeah.
here's a parking ticket for my post. You know?
But I mean, there's a lot of roads. There's a lot of like normal streets that don't have cameras on it, and kids know these things. Like, and to know that you can do something like that on a road, you know, stab someone and get away with it. To me, I just don't understand what the government's really doing.
No, but you're definitely right with what you're saying about, you know, is this going to happen in youth centers? When these kids go out these days, they need to make sure whatever they're doing out there, like see me, I can go in, when I was growing up, I could go into any postcode I really wanted to. Sometimes I wouldn't because I feel like some of the people that have caused some sort of issues around where I live, I feel like, you know, someone might say, oh, that boy's from SW11. And I won't put myself in that situation. So when these young boys go out and they do these things, they need to think about what they're doing because when they feel like when they do go into youth centres and their mind blocks out, I'm going youth centre to play table tennis, but you might bump into someone that you tried to rob the other day. So it's like making it's what choices they're making when they're out on the road.
But this is when I'm talking about resources. Want to talk about preventative in terms of schools and putting workshops and bringing people that actually experience have gone to prisons. Because when you go to prison, a lot of these young people, when they go to prison, your op is going to be on the same block as you. And you know what's going to happen, my darling? You and him are going to be besties. You guys are actually going to end up talking to each other because sometimes you guys have to stick together because you guys got other people that it's almost like you have new ops. So your former op becomes your alliance. So, and this happens all the time in prison. So you are now out there killing some. And the thing is, when and it goes back to education. It goes back. I feel like young people need healing. They need love and they need education.
And I think
education.
And I
is
think
key.
you know what, some of the grown artists should be held accountable as well. I won't call out their names, but I will just say
Talk about music.
Yeah, because I think the music is a
totally
massive influence.
disagree.
I think the grown artists need to be held accountable.
I totally disagree.
Because you're adults now, and all you're doing is advertising to kids, of how to become this, this icon within the streets. And I get it that, that's maybe what you know, and that's what you want to express within your music and your artwork. But what you're doing is actually making your own community dirty.
I disagree.
But they're trying
I disagree.
But most of them are. Well, I can't speak
a lot of
for
these
them.
artists,
they're telling their stories.
A lot of these artists,
sharing their
a lot of these artists, some of them are actually talking facts, real life stories.
They're telling their stories.
And then some of them are just putting on a facade.
Of course they are waffling.
Like Rick Ross. He ain't no gangster. Everybody knows he's not a gangster. He's a correctional officer. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't think that is a good enough excuse to use as a reason as to why there's so much crime and gang violence. Because let me tell you something, when I grew up, I listened to gangster rap.
Same.
Well, we listened to America gangster rap, right?
I listened, because that's all that was at the time.
So,
but I was listening to, what you're going to say, because it's in America, I'm less inclined to participate in those activities.
Crime
is crime, bro.
I think this crime has become dangerous because your average bedroom kid now has learnt the language and can communicate within the hood with the language that they've learnt. But back in the day, we didn't have that type of language barrier where, like, now there's a British culture that's taken over the music, and I feel like some kids you're looking at.
I wouldn't blame it on entertainment.
About drill music, then?
I wouldn't even say drill. I just think that you are accountable.
Let me tell you something.
Share
Can I say something? Sorry. Can I say something? I think when people say, "Oh, it's all about music and this and that," it's bullshit. Because I watched New Jack City when I was 8.
Yeah.
I love Nino Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Dog was like one of my favorite characters of any movie. Menace to Society was my favorite film. But not once did I think, oh, I thought, let me go shoot someone or stab someone if I got issues with them.
You had a stable foundation in that sense, yeah? You had stable foundation. For those that don't have stable foundations, Scarface is a father in a sense. Do you know what I'm saying to you? When you don't have a stable foundation and you're growing up watching just, like, let's say, like for me personally, I've learned so much crime watching TV of how to cook food, how to rob someone's thing. I've learned these things through films.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
But can I just say, I kind of agree a bit with what Aaron is saying. I get what you're saying as well. I'm always on the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like you're both making good points. Yeah, I feel like there's a difference when you hear young people tell their story. This is what they live in, and there's a difference. And then there's young people that actually are glorifying, saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna come to your block. I'm gonna shank your mom. I'm stab her in the eye." Hey, calm down. Like, it's early in the morning. You shouldn't be that angry. So, like, what I'm saying, and then I get what you're trying to say, and then the whole hypeness of it. However, if we're going to talk about music, we have to talk about games. Like the biggest game right now is what? What's the biggest game right now?
Grand Theft Auto?
Call of Duty.
Not Call of Duty. What's the?
Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah.
Which is like kind of like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That is one of the most violent games. Do you understand? And loads of children love it. So if you think about, if you're telling music, I feel games is more dangerous.
Yeah, there's a lot of
because
events,
games desensitize children from a very young age that killing is normal.
Yeah.
Because you're shooting the op from a very young age.
Yeah.
So from very young, you're already desensitizing killing.
Yeah.
So how now? So if we're going to talk about music, we should talk about these type of games.
You're 100% right.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Can I ask you a question? I might be swaying
And
off
movies
a
as
little
well.
bit. Do you really think that playing violent video games is desensitizing young people from? Because what I think is desensitizing young people is the black web. Is the black web and the stuff that people send into each other's of these beheadings and stuff around the world and all this madness and people that I think that desensitizes people. Because if you're gonna,
everyone's different.
Like when I was growing up, I was playing Streets of Rage. Beating up man every day on Axel and the characters on Streets of Rage. But then, if I saw a real fight and I saw a man get worked and bare blood, his teeth out, like that would touch me in a way. I'm like, rah, like that's a bit sad. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't really.
So the graphics are not different.
But we were oblivious to the graphics that we see today. The graphics we had back then were the graphics we had back then. It looked real back then though.
But Aaron,
that was the best graphics that they had at the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
But the difference between us then, we had a balance of life. Like we said, we used to go out and play. We used to start. There was balance of time. Yeah. You are living in a generation where they would literally sit down 5 days a week if they can. Do you understand? On Fortnite, you know that you can't pause these games. These games are not. They're live
active,
games.
yeah,
they're active games. So you can't actually pause them. Like, oh yeah, let me do another adventure, level like tomorrow or 4 days down the line. So this is something that they can see. I'm not saying that there's a factual. Because of this is why. No, I'm not. It's like if we're going. All I was trying to say, if there's a correlation with music, that it enhances, the hypeness, or enhances them to kind of maybe do more or be like, like man's this. Then we have to look at games. We have to look at movies. We can't just blame drill. Because I feel games can be even worse than music. Because music, more time, remember when we're listening to music, we're not even listening to we're listening to the lyrics, but we don't really even understand you're taking in the lyrics. Do you understand? We even do that now. Sometimes we're dancing to a tune. Now we're speaking some mad lyrics like, hey, I'm going to shake your mom in your face. But you're like, you're saying that, but you actually, Ari, did you hear what you just said? You're going to shank someone's mum in the face. Yeah. Because you're actually not realizing what you're actually saying. You're just listening to the actual beat of the music. So, do you get what I mean? Yeah. And by the time, and this is when you're younger, by the time you get older, like 15, 16, or you're understanding the lyrics, you now have the logical, the common sense to differentiate, like lyrical context and actually going out there and doing something stupid. Yeah. Where when you play a game as a child, you're more into the world. You're like involved in the world. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
It feels real. It feels real.
I feel like for me, is gaming is worse than music. That's
You
just
know,
my
and
opinion.
I agree with Aria in the sense. I think there's a lot of angles that let's say the elite above are throwing at us in order to penetrate the minds of vulnerable people at at that time. I mean, let's be honest. There's more followers than leaders in life. And this is what we're experiencing. Is the followers are leading themselves into the situation,
100%.
but we can't.
It's only 1%.
And we don't have enough. We don't have enough leaders in our British community. I mean, America's a bit different because I think there's a lot of strong men stepping up and taking on roles. But in the UK, we don't have as much who have a large platform. It's not that individually we're not doing things, but it's the platform, creating a platform to be able to. Like, I'll give an example. Akala has made a beautiful platform, and maybe he should be more in the front for us because he can educate us in ways. But we need more Akalas out there, not just Akala. We need more with large platforms.
100%. I think it's the issue as well. And this is one of the solutions that we need to have. We need to give young people more of a diversity of achievement of what they can achieve and the possibilities, the actual possibilities. Because sometimes, for example, I'll give you an example like my brother. My brother was a little hood rat, yeah, back in the days, my older brother, yeah. Little hood rat, always getting caught up in stupidity and so forth, got in trouble, went to prison for fight. Anyway, some madness at 16, then came out, he did a year, came out, was on tag, and then he was still kind of like associating himself with the wrong people, and I think he was told to sort of like hold something for someone to, like, oh, hold this and I'll give you some money and stuff. Still 17, still stupid and so forth. End up doing his house, got raided, he got in trouble. Yeah, that whole same cycle. Well, basically, the young people that we basically went there on getting in trouble come from a good home. Like at home, he was perfect. John is like, because obviously, back in the days, there used to be we had more respect for elders, so we didn't like do none of that. But on road, he was like a little hood rat, like doing stupidity, and came from a good home. And again, got caught up with the whole hype and and so forth. However, like when he was here, what he wanted to be is an MC. Because why? What people that look like him or that came from the background that he came from or from the area that he came from were MCs, were in sports, were footballers. So that's I think that's what you said, Jacko. Like that is now your aspiration. That's what you're inspired. That's what's inspiring you. But you don't see, people becoming like doctors or because you think I can never be a doctor. My brother now is a pilot. Do you understand? Wow. But also he was sent back home. Sorry, that's a story I skipped. So basically, he was getting in trouble, and my dad at the time was back in Africa, and it's like, you know what, send him back home. So he was sent back home, and obviously he was crying, oh my god, I'm going back to Africa. But that was the best thing that happened to him. Like I said, the environment. And I feel
Changed
like
him.
we keep talking about these young people, and I always say I don't feel like the problem is the young people. Sometimes it's the environment that they live in. Because if you take, that whole saying, if you take a flower out of the environment and you put them in a different environment, they will blossom.
Blossom differently.
So, my brother was taken from that environment, and when he was taken from that environment, and he was in an environment where he's just seeing young people now going to study, or he's seeing young people doing positive things. He now is like, right, like, what was I actually doing? What am I doing? It gives him a different mindset. So now he was like, oh, okay. And now my brother would have been either in prison or dead if he was here. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But if you go to a man on road now, I'd be like, yo, you can be a pilot, you can be driving, fly out planes. You'd be like, come on, man. He's not.
Doesn't
his
feel
vision
realistic.
Is not that. It's not a realistic vision, and we don't give this to these young people. I don't know.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, look, we can chat about this for hours,
yeah.
man. Hours is yeah. We can chat about this for long. But listen, just to finish it off, sum up the knife crime in one word, if you can.
In one word.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't.
I'm gonna start off. Scary.
Oh, that's a big one to start off with. Emotional.
Problematic.
That's took all the good words, damn it. I would say revolving.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
Okay,
Oh man.
I think that's about it. Guys, thank you very much. Leave your comments. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to
Like.
hit us up on
Yeah.
Instagram as well at the
Yeah.
Unbalanced Podcast.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
yeah.
Hit that
Subscribe.
bell.
Yeah, leave your comments.
Ding a ling a ling a
And,
ling
and
a
at the
ling.
bottom, as you can see, comments at the bottom.
Even your negative ones,
yeah,
leave
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
No,
Only
we don't
about
want that
Jacko, though.
negative. Rebuke that.
Yeah.
White guy snitch. I can feel it already. I can feel it. Guys, thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
I am starving, bro.
Starving like Marvin.
Starving like Marvin. What about Marvin though?
Marvin, you know.
Come.
Oh, I ain't seen Marvin.